South Korea has a couple issues. South Korea is broken. We're gonna take a look at that. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh my god.
South Korean politicians are morons.
Oh!
They will do literally everything to try and fix their birth rate problem
my
rather
god.
than getting to the main cause. The literally everything includes a politician promoting Kegel exercises
What?
or suggesting girls start school a year earlier than boys to make them more appealing.
That's fucked up. That is fucked up. What? Wait, are you telling me all the men over there are like, they're just having fun with the homies? Bro, you gotta calm down. We gotta have fun with the homies, man.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Bro, it's weird. That's so weird. Starting school earlier? What the fuck? That's so weird.
If you ever watched any of Bong Joon-ho's movies, you would know that the main message of all of his amazing movies is South Korea is a fucked up place. This country is literally ran by Samsung, LG, and Hyundai Kia. They have a
and BTS. You got a free. I think BTS is like 2.4% of Korea's like income. I think something like that.
horrible work and school culture, but by far the most important quote-unquote challenge they face is the horribly low birth rate they have. It is the worst in the world, and it's recently plummeted down to 0.72 births per woman.
Oh my god, per woman.
2.1 to keep their current population, let alone grow it, and they're at 0.72. So why do the South Korean women not want to make babies with these handsome, rich, cute little twinks? They fuck with the other guy. They ask me to give up my seed.
What? Bro, I mean, he got a point though. Like, I don't know, like every time I look at South Korea, man, everybody's handsome. Everybody's hot. All the girls are hot. All the dudes are hot. They have an extremely healthy diet in their base itself. Like, they're eating well. Like, what's going on here? What's happening? I know there's a lot of issues in Korea, though. I remember we watched a lot of Rotten Mango, and this is definitely outlined the issues with politicians and everything going around there. But man, bro, this is nuts.
South Korea is miles ahead in misogyny technology than every other country in the world.
Misogyny.
Among Korean men, there is a widespread perception that designated seats for pregnant women.
Wait.
There is
A brutal attack was caught on CCTV. The victim had to turn to a TV to get justice. In 2022, a South Korean woman was brutally attacked by a man as she waited for an elevator up her apartment. The case exposed how true crime TV shows are filling the void where victims feel let down by the justice system. Damn.
Widespread perception that designated seats for pregnant women are an excessively female-friendly policy, to the point where it
What is this game? What game is this?
became a trend on the internet to protest this policy by posting photos of dudes sitting in these seats as a form of protest. Imagine you're a woman in South Korea, right? You already have these unbelievable, unrealistic beauty standards where to be considered.
I'm sorry to stop that much, but what are these photos? I mean, to be fair, I've heard that you need to do plastic surgery as a K-pop star. Like, or it's frowned upon to not have any plastic surgery, so everybody has to do something. But what is going on? Minecraft Steve to goddamn.
Where to be considered pretty, you have to be basically
that has
a
to be fake.
supermodel.
That must be
South
fake.
Korea has the most plastic surgeries per capita in the world, with over 1 million operations happening every year, and with every 1 in 4 women aged 19 to 29 already having plastic surgery done, with men being 2%. On top of
I remember a funny case where maybe it's because they don't know how she actually looked like. I remember there was this case about a guy that had a kid with a girl, and the kid turned out ugly. So the husband found out that his wife had done a lot of plastic surgery, and then found out how she looked in the past. So he sued her because she was ugly and lied to him.
these motherfuckers decide to give you the largest wage gap on the planet
Oh my
for
God.
your hard work, and they only decriminalized abortion in 2021, 3 years
Not
ago.
all
It's
capable
not
idols
legal
plastic
now,
surgery. I don't know about that, but all I've heard, and listen, I am not in the Korean like industry like that. Whatever I heard are like air from air. But I have heard that it's frowned upon in Korea when it comes to idols and celebrities to not have plastic surgery. If you don't, you will basically be mocked. It's like a standard of like a viewpoint. But I am not sure if that is 100% true, but I've heard it many, many times. So if this is fake, I hope it's fake because it's ludicrous. But, you know.
but it's not illegal either. Me personally, if I was a woman, I would be crashing out and tweaking. Man, fuck men in particular, but not literally, which is how the 4B movement spawned, which means
fuck
no
men, but
dating,
don't fuck
marriage,
'em.
childbirth, or sex with dudes. And when your country's laws about women are written by John Jones and Harvey Weinstein, with intense misogyny, discriminatory laws, and the highest wage gap in the world, it is no surprise this movement spawned in South Korea. You know what does not help either? South Korea being the most expensive place in the world to raise a child, costing around $270,000 to raise a
This is the thing Korea needs to focus on. Not figuring out how people will date more, but they got to figure out the prices. And this is a problem in all around the world, to be honest. Like, it's too expensive to start a family. It's too expensive to date. Like, people don't have the money for this shit, man. Like, you got to figure this out if you want people to fuck around a little bit more and find out.
Child until the age of 18. In second place is the glorious
Biggest
People's
frown upon?
Republic of China.
I don't know, but I've heard it. But if it's not, I hope it's not. Like, listen, I actually hope it's not because I think it's insane. I think.
Taiwan, South Korea,
Ooh.
your destiny is to be obliterated into nothing by a Chinese Dongfang missile.
Thank God.
South Korea has this phenomenon called academic elitism, where basically if you don't go to the best universities they have to offer, your life is basically over. You're gonna get a shitty job, no money, you will be sucking dick behind the KFC on Daihakro Street for money. And then there are the Sky Universities, Seoul, Korea, and Yonsei Universities. Whether or not you get into one of these 3 universities decides your financial and social position in the country for the rest of your life. It's like parkour civilization. So there's a huge pressure on the Korean youth to get into one of these, which is why private tutoring has a whole term for it called hagwons, and why it's a $20 billion industry. Because every parent, no matter their financial capability, wants their child to succeed. And since Korean society is set up in a way where you need to go into the sky schools, Korean households spend more on private tutoring than housing and food. Because of these exorbitant prices, households can barely afford one kid, let alone more. And they also probably don't want to put their kids through the same education hellhole they went through. An 8-hour entrance exam? Real question.
Oh my
48
God.
hours with Diddy or 8-hour entrance exam?
That's a hard question, man. That is a hard question. Yeah, I think that these kind of things definitely exhaust the youth. Like, I don't know, like, I mean, like, I think that in some way, the way people are phrasing this makes less like progressiveness for like the country itself than calming down on it. Because like, whenever you do this, you basically just exhaust everybody and they're not really learning much.
The rest of your life. Discuss in the comments below. The Korean entrance exam, CSAT, aka Kokskibidi ass torture, literally has killer questions that are bullshit questions just to make the student scores lower. A lot of times these questions aren't included in normal schools either, but are only included in these private tutoring schools. So already, if your kid is not in those expensive private cram schools, he's set back by this capitalist shithole called South Korea.
That's a bad guy.
These killer questions are either some insane deluded algebra questions that have not been solved by any mathematician ever, or some obscure literary takeouts. What did Tyler respond to Kai Cenat when Kai asked her out on a date? Oh my God, bro. They only decided to her out on a date.
In Dexter, the famous quote is filled in black. Oh my God. What did Tyler respond to Kai Cenat when Kai asked her out on a date? We just friends though? Phantom tax? No answer.
Oh my God, bro. They only decided to remove these questions last year, so good
the
job on
fuck?
that. But Koreans still spend nearly $20 billion a year on these private tutoring schools.
Ooh.
Usually what
What kind of
happens in a
school is
normal
this?
Korean teen's day is they go to school from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., already 8 hours of classes, and then goes to the private cram school, which usually goes from 6 to 9, already 11 hours of classes, and then the rest of the day is spent studying at home before falling asleep and lacking on sleep. A lot of people estimate that they spend 12 to 17 hours a day just studying. Hey, why are the fertility rates low? Bro, if you told me I had to study 15 hours a day, the last thing on my mind would be making kids. I want to make kids
Real.
out of spite of what this world has to offer. Because why would I want to let my kids go through this hellhole called studying in South Korea? A big part of their demographic crisis is that they are extremely urbanized, and as all problems, it always comes down to fucking real estate. Over half of South Korea lives in the Seoul metropolitan area, because that's where all the Sky universities are. So everyone who wants to live well has to live in Seoul, and also because there are a bunch of construction restrictions that don't allow for a lot of housing to be built. So the limited housing in Seoul is basically a bidding war between Samsung higher-ups, normal South Koreans, and the guy from Squid Game. And
Damn.
the bidding war usually ends in the Samsung higher-ups buying these apartments, renting it to normal South Koreans for huge sums of money, and the guy from Squid Game sucking dick behind the Shake Shack in Yong District for 2,500 won. So
I think that's a big issue. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, companies are running South Korea. Like, anything, even a politician has to follow up with whatever they're doing because they got the money. Like, it's crazy.
he can keep
Big
chain
issue.
smoking his SA lights. In 1928, Stalin started the first 5-year plan, and the goal was to move these stupid, dumb, illiterate peasant farmers out from the farms and get them into cities where there was big industry and make them make tractors and a bunch of other cool shit. By moving illiterate peasants out from these big farms and cramming them into apartments, the Soviet Union's birth rate crashed. In peasant farmer societies, children are usually encouraged because they're more of a free labor and not as much of a financial burden. However, in cities, raising children is expensive, and you also don't get a large family to help with farming. You're all alone in that Samsung factory, resulting in this, where you can clearly see that the fertility rates in big cities are much, much lower than their less urbanized areas. In Vienna's airport, they made the benches purposefully uncomfortable to keep people from sleeping on it. A real dedicated sleeper like me will never succumb to the capitalist invention of anti-homeless infrastructure.
That's right.
And even though these metal rods were hitting me straight in my hips, I had an amazing 8-hour
Bro's dead. Oh my god. Bro, I gotta sub to this guy. I fucking love this guy.
long sleep in this airport. Governments will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars building anti-homeless infrastructure just for me to sleep on it, when the only anti-homeless infrastructure that works is giving the homeless homes.
That's
and yeah,
right.
South Korea is cooked on all fronts. Not only everything I mentioned, but also their views are literally the complete opposite of women. It's like the South Korean male population thinks women are their enemy, because what even is this divide? It's literally just two opposite extremes, and the chances of them getting along to the point where they would want to have children is slim to none. Because of this toxic work, education, and dating culture, South Korea has the highest self-end rate in a first world country.
That is
Recently, I went
insane.
out for a walk in Tbilisi with Geopol, discussing important topics such as Diddy and Skibbity Toilet. And when I came back to my apartment, my Lenovo monitor had broken itself. Hong Kong had disappointed me. The warranty people told me it would take 3 weeks to order me a new one, and I would genuinely rather be waterboarded than not have access to my computer for
That makes
3
sense.
weeks. So I went ahead and got a new Samsung monitor. With this, I contributed to the mafia, not so secretly running
Oh,
the
you were
country
part of the
South
issue.
Korea. In 2017,
This is
the
your
son of
fault.
the chairman of Samsung literally bribed the president for a corporation favor that would benefit Samsung, and then got exposed for it. The president got overthrown, and Lee got sentenced to 5 years in prison. Then they reduced it to 2.5 years and released him after serving only 1 year in prison. Then, for some reason, he had a retrial about this, got sentenced back to prison for 2 years and 6 months. And then when
get
there was
back.
a global chip shortage in the world, Joe Biden went to South Korea because America needed more chips. And
Joe
the new
Biden?
president of South Korea pardoned the chairman of Samsung, and now he leads Samsung. I'm really
Wait, Joe Biden got him out? What the fuck Joe doing, man? Get back to US.
Really liking this monitor though. Like, look, I can rotate it and watch Instagram reels like this. I don't know what it would take for the South Korean government to realize that their ultra-capitalist society is the cause for all their difficulties, such as being an incel, pulling 2014 ISIS numbers, and the real estate market being horrible. Also, the three big companies, but mainly Samsung, have so much power over there that every politician is there to serve Samsung's interests and not the South Korean people. You guys already saw how Samsung literally bribed the president with $37 million, and that is only one of the things they have been exposed for. Just imagine how many secret deals have been taking place with Samsung's leaders and Korean politicians. I do not care how much money you have. If you're going to be alone for the rest of your life and also hold some extreme beliefs about the opposite sex and also never be able to own a home for yourself, no matter how much money you have either way, because Samsung exists, what's the point? And government...
I think that's a big point, by the way, that not many people think about. Like, I think whenever you're like 18, you don't really think about this more, but once you become 20, like I'm not talking about 29, I'm talking about like you become 20, right? And you're focused on your education and stuff. I think that owning a home is like a focus you have and a driven, like a desire you wish to have. Like you want to own that apartment, you want to own a house because you want to have like a place of home. Like I think that's what your next mile goal is beside your education and work. And I think whenever you completely remove that from a way of like goals to the people, I think it creates a big problem for everybody, because what's the point in even being there anymore? Well, what goal, what am I trying to do here? Why am I here? What is going on? How can I even do anything? How can I even start a family if I don't have that? You know, like all these questions come up, and I don't know. I think it's really bad for their country in an overall state.
Funded matchmaking events to try and get people to talk to each other is not going to fix the fact that even if they really, really liked each other, they wouldn't be able to afford the home because Samsung keeps buying up all the property to the point where they have their own little town dedicated to themselves. But a bunch of corporations have their own office towns. This isn't my big beef with them. I hope my Samsung monitor does not shut itself off using their Samsung AI to detect the words I'm writing and fucking explode my monitor, because people in Korea get born in the Samsung medical.
There's no way. Is this part muted? I think this part is muted, guys. I think he popped off. He popped off a little bit too hard and Samsung got him. They said, you know what? You're not allowed to talk about this. We've had enough of you. You're calling us out on 9. Like, you can't see it, but there's a counter here. Like, I think he popped off so much, so Samsung called up old YouTube and were like, listen, this guy, he's popping off. He's talking shit about us. We cannot have this kind of standard. Classic. I know, right? They took him down. They shut him down. They shut our boy down. It's holding up so much of the muted segment. Yeah, this is crazy, actually, how long this is muted. It's actually nuts how long this is muted. What's... Oh, my God. How long does this go?
This is genuinely a side.
Actually, unironically, as soon as he was done talking about Samsung, he's unmuted. Man, they actually got him. They actually shut him down. They shut our boy down. No way.
Cyberpunk dystopia, if I've ever heard one, where one company controls everything and bribes the president. These huge country controlling family owned companies are the cause of nearly all of South Korea's problems, but they enable you to watch Instagram reels on a full 4K screen in portrait mode. Basically, if you're South Korean, you only have 3 options: Samsung worker, professional League of Legends player, or a K-pop idol. And when you become a K-pop idol, you are basically signing your human rights away to become a slave for a management company, where you live in dorms with your group members that are about to debut and literally starve yourself as a diet, usually eating about 1,000 calories a day.
I don't know about this. This looks hella good, man.
These women are stronger than most men in the galactic empire. I mean, American military. Because they eat basically nothing all day and train these dances for 8 to 10 hours a day. Aren't allowed to leave without permission and are not allowed to date anyone. And after 2 to 4 years of training, they might not even debut because their management company will refuse it. So put some fucking respect on K-pop's name. You might not like the music, but the work these people put in and the literal slavery they had to go through through to get to where they are is just respectable. Game recognizes game. If I was a slave for 4 years and then random American teenagers made fun of me because I look gay and have plastic surgery, I would tweak out. I would defect to North Korea and send one of their Hwasong 19 missiles to that kid's house. Bye-bye, Russia! What do you think nearly all the cinema that comes out of South Korea is about hating rich, big, corrupt companies such as Parasite and Squid Game? This is their reality that they're living through. Side note, on top of this,
I think he has a good point. Writing like this reflects a lot of cultural issues. Like, because this is on the mind, on the culture.
they require me a visa to go there? Hell nah. You know who doesn't require a visa for me? The European Union.
This guy really likes Stalin, huh? I've never seen a YouTuber use Stalin multiple times in a YouTube video. This guy.
China.
Fun fact, I remember in middle school, I had like a 30-minute presentation without any notes about Stalin's entire life and everything he fucking did. I remember barely anything about that presentation, but I did it flawlessly and talked about everything about Stalin. A very wild man, though. That's a wild boy. That's a real wild boy in history.
I know who I'm choosing. Like and subscribe and goodbye.
This is my favorite song. W video. I have never seen this channel before. I love that. That was such a good and funny video. Now, Korea has a lot of problems. Like, I remember whenever we looked at Rotten Mango, you can see clearly there's a lot of issues in Korea, a lot of with their politics in itself. They're kind of completely the opposite of China. Because, like, in China, China completely governs every company. They are in control. If if the state hates your company, you're done. It's over. It's done. You're gone. But in Korea, companies own the government. It's wild, isn't it? It is freaking wild. I do feel bad for the Korean population in this regard. It feels like there's a lot of battles and problems, and I hope they solve them eventually. It's a lot of things. There's a lot of standards. There's a lot of different things, cultural differences that are so big there. Because, like, I don't know, like, I think Korea in a visual, like, in a way, it looks very beautiful and great. But I think there's a different kind of view we'll have once you start living there, or once you talk to actual Koreans about how things are there. But yeah, tell me down below what you think. Like this video if you enjoyed the react. If you want to watch more react, feel free to sub to the channel. If you want to yap with me live, feel free to come by my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Adley. There's a link in the description. I'll see you guys around. Take care and have a good one. Peace, y'all. Bye.